the hard-working type that leads a life of humility and grace. It's not surprising that the empathic INFJ can end up triggering deep and unexpected envy from those around them. Whether this jealousy is used as a self-motivator or a reason to resent the INFJ entirely, what is it about this type that makes them so enviable? Welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it, starting with number 1. They're almost always cool, calm and collected. Chill, mellow, reserved, and mysterious. The INFJs are often seen as the agreeable and relaxed one of the group. Also known as the mediator or the mystic personality type, no matter the circumstances, the INFJ is always the peacemaker, the problem solver, and the unflappable one of the situation. And while this may not seem like a particularly enviable trait, one would be surprised by how many people resort to panic when the simplest of things don't get the way they initially expected. In a world riddled with anxiety, restlessness, and fear, sensing an aura of unwavered calmness from someone can be rather refreshing and reassuring. However, the people who have a natural habit of resorting to a victim mentality with a difficulty in breaking things down into more attainable understandings can end up perceiving this connectedness as a false tactic. Rooted in envy, they may question the very authenticity of the INFJ's undisturbed nature, writing it off as simply impossible. Number 2. They're always striving to better themselves through self-discipline. Ironically, to the INFJ, this personal habit can be rather tortuous at times, with the inability to ever be completely content with who they are and where they're at in life. INFJs can't help but to continuously better themselves in at least one aspect of life at all times. However, on the outside looking in, this ambitious and self-driven characteristic of someone with the INFJ personality type can certainly trigger feelings of envy in others. For example, the INFJ may be in the best physical shape in the opinion of others, but still strive to eat the healthiest diet and stay on a strict fitness regime. They may have a fulfilling and communicative romantic relationship, but still continue to try to find ways to spice things up. Or they may have an excellent degree in their field of work, but still strive to keep up to date on the latest certificates, courses, and training to progress their knowledge. Whatever it is, the aspiring and self-disciplined side of the INFJ can certainly trigger passive-aggressive comments and the occasional eye roll here and there. Number 3. Everything they do is through their best efforts. Speaking of the high standards the INFJ holds themselves to when it comes to self-mastery, because of this at times challenging quality, they tend to only display the best work they produce. Considering they put their whole heart and soul into everything they feel passionate enough to achieve in life, they can end up coming across as a high achiever in one way or another, whether it's in the workplace, in a learning setting, in their personal goals of health, or even when it comes to how much effort they put into their relationships. Some people can begin questioning their lack of effort when they witness the innate INFJ quality. In fact, the jealousy people have towards this INFJ self-standard isn't only due to the fact that they wish they had the same high-achieving desires, but it's the fact that this personality type is able to strive with grace and humility. They're not putting in their best efforts in hopes of impressing others or to achieve status and power. Rather, they do their best because it's in their very nature to do so. Which brings us to number 4. They talk their achievements down. When referring to this personality type's modesty, some can envy the very fact that INFJs don't even know how good they really are. With regards to their talents, the strengths they bring to friendships and team meetings, the common sense they hold in everyday scenarios, and even the deep understanding they hold for others' feelings. Some people notice the INFJ's powers far beyond what the INFJ acknowledges about themselves. And even for the qualities the INFJ knows they bring to the table, they'd be the last people to rub it in the face of others. Since they're not about self-boasting and much rather remain behind the scenes as opposed to being admired in the spotlight, the INFJ's strengths never come with a distasteful aura. In fact, if through their extroverted feeling function, the INFJ notices that someone may be feeling envious of their achievements or talents, they'll more than likely take appropriate action to make them seem easily attainable. For example, if someone were to subtly communicate their feelings of jealousy toward a job the INFJ has landed, the INFJ may go off on a tangent about how anybody could get the job they got, and that it was simply a matter of luck, when in reality, they have the specific strengths and determination required. Number 5. They usually live a balanced life. With work, obligations, and family life often getting the best of people's time for doing things for themselves, the INFJ's priority for personal care and personal time can have some people questioning where they went wrong in their own lives. Now, of course, this idealistic priority doesn't always take form in the quantity or quality the INFJ wants, but for the most part, their need for solitude can trigger significant envy in those who are running around without a minute to their name. The ironic thing is that, once again, most INFJs feel as though they have no choice but to make time for themselves. Without the necessary time to recharge and reflect and rejuvenate, the INFJ will find themselves on the fast track to serious mental burnout. They simply cannot handle as much hustle and bustle as the average person. And because of that, they're met with the choice of picking and choosing the way they spend precious hours very carefully. Sometimes this even results in them needing to set boundaries around how much time they spend with certain people and in hobbies they enjoy. So, while it may seem all fine and dandy from an outer perspective, INFJs can actually end up slightly envious of the fact that others can have a lively social life without repercussions. Number 6. They're guided by altruism rather than obligations. Selflessness and empathy can trigger funny feelings in those who don't run on the same values. As a matter of fact, sometimes the rules the INFJ lives by are not considered values at all, but rather just the result of their cognitive functions. Due to their unique mix of introverted intuition, extroverted feeling, introverted thinking, and extroverted sensing functions, most INFJs are captivated by higher purpose and deeper meaning. Especially when on the topic of the major life sectors of career, relationships, and living circumstances. INFJs aren't motivated by feeling obligated or pressed to follow social norms. They don't usually work solely for the sake of money, nor do they hold on to falsely founded relationships for the sake of avoiding loneliness. They wouldn't move out of their loving parents' home at an early age before they could afford it, simply because that's what's expected of them by others. To put it simply, they don't make life choices for the sake of status, impressing others, or for the means of finding happiness outside of themselves. Instead, the INFJs have a realness about them that allows them to follow their dreams and their dreams only. And usually, these dreams have a lot to do with making a difference in the world. And lastly, number 7, they seem to never make mistakes. Some sources say that the INFJs are known for their clumsy behavior, but we'd have to disagree. While they certainly make mistakes just as often as every other human, they are much more careful in their planning and predicting. Not only does this innate sense of organization in life allow them to limit the amount of witnessed mistakes they make, but it also gives them the future projection of avoiding negative outcomes to their choices. In fact, INFJs are considered one of the least adventurous types due to them requiring some sort of plan of action in almost every endeavor they set out on. One INFJ blogger explained this aspect of themselves perfectly by saying, "I see questions from time to time asking about INFJ clumsiness. People who barely know me would not call me clumsy. I almost never make these kinds of mistakes. But the reason for that is I plan my entire life carefully because I know that if I don't, I will literally walk into every wall and trip on every stair. They think I've got it together, but I don't. This sense of poise and coordination can trigger envy, but for the most part, it's a well thought out scheme. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So as an INFJ, do you think you've ever triggered envy in someone in your life? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.